That is the combine reflecting in a puddle. What a wet day. You're probably wondering what that was. That was the heat exchanger on the front of the dryer. So I've just turned the heat off now, so it won't be pumping hot water through it. And I went in just to check that there was cool air coming through the heat exchanger. Bits of plastic, bits of rubbish, bits of leaves stuck to the grill, so I pulled it off. But yeah, that dryer that used to run off kerosene is now converted to run off hot water. So we're still drying grey now. We've got quite a lot to get through. It's drying it for a neighbour up the road. I think there's about 17 or 18 dryer full. But what we've also done is we've put it down on one of the drying floors, so we're blowing heat through it there as well to speed the process up. And then the dryer then will basically spend most of its time then just cooling it and conditioning it. So in a bit that'll start taking another load in and stay in there for a few hours, circulate it and dry it. But at the moment the grain is stored on here and we are blowing some hot air through it. So this is now being dried already. Not completely dry, but it will be soon. Then it'll go through the other one, be cooled down, conditioned, and then it's good for storage or selling. A little bit of a drip here. Sometimes you get that from condensation, but I'm thinking that it's because someone tipped the trailer into the shed roof a few weeks ago and cracked them sheets. So we're gonna have to get up there and sort them sheets out because there's a little bit of a drip here. But yeah, while it's waiting to go through the dryer, it's on this floor ready, so it's already sort of like pre-dried. We can completely dry it on here and then blow it with cold air on here as well and just use it as a dryer, but we're always drying wood chip at the same time. So in order to blow cold air through this, it means turning the heat off to the wood chip. So we just run this, some people call them tray dries, run this hot most of the time and get it as dry as we can, throw it through the cool it, condition it, job done. Yeah, I'm just going to fill the intake pit up now with barley. We're not filling it too full because obviously once we take it off that drying floor and it sits in here waiting to go through this dryer, it's obviously not got any drying effect. So we're just putting it into here as and when we're ready to do another batch. So I'll bring about 9 bucketfuls now. That should be about 18 tonne. That dryer is an 18 tonne batch dryer, so it's a 20 tonne dryer, but we didn't think we'd fit a 20 tonne quite in, so it's a little bit lower at the top. As it happens, we probably could have fitted a 20 tonne in, but we were designing the shed and the dryer at the same time and we just weren't sure on the technicalities of it fitting because of the auger that goes under the floor, this sort of train and fly that Rob got his phone in the other day, making sure that we had enough angle for that when we built it. Randomly, me and Rob actually built it in this, we got the dryer in 2012 after that wet season, ran it just static as a batch dryer, and then when Rob, I think he come back from Antarctica, well, just before he went, let me get this right, might be when he come back from Antarctica because he worked out there, we installed the dryer into that shed that we built over winter. So it was a winter project ready for the following harvest, which was 13 when we sort of used it as in a vengeance, and in that intake pit we just tipped it in. At the time it was like a massive improvement and like we thought that it was like future proof for ages. In hindsight now, it's probably half the size. We'd needed double the size really, but at the time it was huge. Every time you do something on the farm, always go as big as you can because you will outgrow it normally. We can turn the floor off in sections anyway. This section here is still on. I've just scooped some grain out of here to put into the dryer, so what I've decided to do is pull the wetter stuff because the moisture rises to the top out of it. So I'm just pulling the wet stuff off the top of the pile now where it's drying on what we call the drying floor. And then I'm just going to put it thin at the bottom here and then it'll dry out really quickly, so next time we come to fill the dryer it should be a bit more even going in. Just all the time trying to keep it so that we can dry it as fast as possible because it looks like this dryer is going to be busy this year with the rain we're getting today. I think we've had 30 mil in the last couple of days, 27 mil just yesterday alone or overnight. So it's going to be the point where we're actually going to start making a mess with trailers and combines with it if it carries on how it is at the moment. But yeah, that's the wet pulled off the top now. Put shallow on the floor here. If we in another 2 hours or so when we swap the batch, that should be a lot drier to start with before it goes in. Might only need cooling. That's the air temperature going into the dryer. That's the grain temperature at the moment, 33. So that's obviously cooled down a lot now. That'll start to drop, and hopefully that'll start to drop. It was at 36 before. So we'll let that cool right down, then discharge it through that auger into this shed here, which I'll go and show you. This is some of the rubbish that's been scooped out of it. You could basically make itching powder out of that. It's all bits of barley, hanes and whiskers. That'll go in the dryer and we'll use that as fuel. It's good to take it out because it lifts the bushel weight, which is basically how much it weighs per litre, which it has to be a certain spec to be able to sell it. So just lifts the spec really, and then what you are selling is just pure barley. So yeah, I'll discharge in a minute through that tube there. I'm just going to push this round the corner a little bit, so when it discharges there's enough room to take a batch. So I'll just lay it along this floor there, and hopefully some trucks are going to arrive this week and take that away, because we're just contract drying it. It's not our barley. Our barley is now mostly dry. In fact, no, it's all dry in the other shed. This batch is sufficiently cooled now, so just discharging into this shed. Took about an hour to cool actually. Although it's wet and miserable, it's not actually that cold. Next batch now is going in. Just gonna go and put a sample of it through the moisture meter. That was the last batch to come out. 1457 moisture, 66 kg hectolitre weight, which is basically bushel weight, and it was 34 degrees. Obviously cool that right down before I discharged it. Anyway, I'm gonna ship the drawers empty. Well, not gonna take it, not too full. Put this one in now. This is what's going in, so this will be a lot wetter. Press that button, yeah, okay. And it'll pull it in now. Test the moisture and tell me the bushel and the temperature. What the survey says. So it's 17.18, I think it come in at about 19%. It's 32 degrees, it's already been warmed up a bit. And the bushel's 62. Now I think it needs to be 62 or 64. Can't quite remember. Oh, bushel barley, yes, 63. So it's just slightly under, but when that comes out, it'll probably be like the other one, like 66, 68 bushel. So give it a couple of hours in the dryer, should be all right. My dad measured 27 mil this morning. My rain gauge only measured 22. They are in different places, but I think when it comes really fast, the little wheel can't keep up maybe. We've had another 10 mil again today. It's just rained all day, solid. Really worried about ground conditions when we do get it back out combining now. It was 40 mil in the last week, or 47 depending on where you are. It is a lot of rain. Anyway, I'm going to quickly do the birthdays. But before that, there's a little bit of Janet's party last night. She had a fucking Bronco. Janet! Woo! Quite loud then. Whoa, what, are you safe with that?
Go, go! No, I'm not. Be careful. I'm gonna ask you forward.
Oh, she's got a technique there.
That's a good technique. She's gonna be good in a minute.
That's 13 seconds.
Next corner, you're off.
Imagine it's just
22. Oh. Birthday bumper dead quick. Andrew McGregor, 36. Sandra Thornton. If I spelled that wrong, Jaden. Gould, 13. Grace Morgan, 18. Happy birthday to you. Aaron Wade, 17. Will Derricker is 11. And John Owens on there. 40,867. Amazing amount of money raised. Happy birthday to everyone on there and anyone else whose birthday is today. Only a short video today because it's been boring, because drying grain isn't the most exciting thing to do, and you all saw it inside the dryer yesterday. But if you've got time, go across and watch the Real Country File. The link is below to that. So bits of things that happen on there, including when we were Rob Mason reporting from Great Eccleston Show last week. So that's all for today on here. Thanks for watching. How are you feeling today? I'm 80%. It's a bit wet. I'd be higher if it wasn't wet, but still not a bad day. How are you? Let us know in the comments, and I'll see you tomorrow.